What's up, guys? How's it going? A little Wednesday link on a Wednesday.
At the normal time.
Yeah.
How about that?
There we go.
It's possible.
Sometimes. We try to as best we can. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thomas, how's it going?
Going good? Yeah, I mean, training camp's over, Josh. We literally, 4 days ago, were doing our first Wednesday link of training camp and trying to break down padless practices. It feels like yesterday that these guys were just getting started. We had no idea who Darius Cooper was. We had no clue that Kelee Ringo was going to get demoted to third string. I'm sure we're going to talk about that. A lot has changed, Josh, over the past 18, 19 days, and the fact that camp is over means that we're going to find out here very soon who officially squeaks in as a 53-man roster participant or roster holder, I guess you could say, and who is going to be a practice squad person or go somewhere else.
There you go. Next Tuesday, less than a week, like you say. We're going to have the full legit roster. Eagles making some minor moves, obviously, with Adoree Jackson being released and Campbell. I'm drawing a blank. A linebacker.
Yes, the linebacker Campbell. I forgot his name too,
I can't
honestly
remember the full name, but Campbell. It's people are like, "What are we doing?" Is this? It's a depth move. We have so many linebackers. It's to have enough bodies for preseason. I can't imagine anything beyond that.
Pretty simple.
So the writing was on the wall with Adoree Jackson. But you're right. There's others that you see and say it out there like Darius Cooper. I think I believe it was Brandon Lee Gowton. He was one of the beat writers, but said if you objectively look at this thing. I get, hey, there's A.J. Brown, there's Devontae Smith, there's Jahan Dotson. Those are your top three. No one's arguing it. Those will be wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. But if you objectively look at it, his takeaway was there's the third best receiver in camp has been Darius Cooper, which is like, come on now. We're thinking like, is there a chance for him to make the roster? John Metchie is going to be there. You don't trade, so yes, he will. But It's just interesting, the more you go through this, and I'm sure we've all done our simulations as far as the 53-man roster and who's going to make it, but it almost feels like the depth, the talent that you have, we'll see what happens with Johnny Wilson. Prayers for him. Hopefully, not too long-term. It feels like it wouldn't be shocking based on the initial reports of his injury and him getting rolled up on by Brett Toth that maybe it's an IR spot, but if it's not, and you're trying to, figure out where this thing goes, it almost seems like a given that you're going to keep 6 wide receivers, which changes it.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but I totally agree. I think Howie got bailed out a little bit by the Johnny Wilson injury, which is terrible because Johnny Wilson was playing very good football. We talk about all the Darius Cooper hype. Johnny Wilson was probably going to be listed as the number 4 wide receiver on this roster come Tuesday. He probably should still be. The question will be obviously if he goes on an IR stint. I think we can't rule out Drew Makuba on a short-term IR situation as well. We'll talk about his hamstring injury, but obviously if hamstring injuries are, to be thought about with A.J. Brown, then it could be a little longer than people realize. We'll talk about him a little bit later on.
Yep.
But Darius Cooper has to make this roster, Josh, right? Like, I know that the fan base has no say in who stays and who goes, but there's been way too much hyping up of Darius Cooper from everybody. I mean, from top down. Jalen Hurts is hyping the guy up. The coaching staff is hyping him up. People like us, content creators, are hyping him up. Beat writers are hyping him up. Fans love Darius Cooper. And what do you know? The final day of training camp today, he had arguably his best practice. I mean, there are multiple beat writers who said today was Darius Cooper's best practice. He ran a lot with the ones, obviously with no AJ and Devontae Smith. And I think he's making the roster. I think the real question receiver-wise is what do you do with Ainias Smith? Because they like Ainias Smith. And they think Ainias Smith had a much better training camp than he did last year because he hardly played in training camp last season due to his ankle injury. But if you're going to keep, let's just do numbers here, AJ, Smitty, Dotson, Metchie, that makes a problem. Johnny Wilson is going to be number 4, or 5, obviously IR. 6 would then be Darius Cooper. They're not keeping 7. So Ainias Smith is probably going to be cut. They will then try to bring him back. But if you're Ainias Smith, Josh, you probably look elsewhere. Because now that they've traded for John Metchie, what are you going to do, right? They're not going to play any sort of snaps that they would have given to Ainias Smith and not now give to John Metchie. So I think Ainias Smith's the odd man out.
I agree. Yeah. As unfortunate as it is, but it's like you have kind of that a little bit more depth based on the move. You're in a decent situation, because of an undrafted free agent in Darius Cooper. You don't expect to hit on necessarily those, but it definitely looks like you have at this point the fact that Jalen Hurts is seeking him out. After practice, they're having some extra conversation of, hey, run this way. That says it all. Usually, you have the UDFAs going through the developmental period, but it's like, no, you're a little bit graduated from that. So, yeah, hang out with QB1. The writing's on the wall there. It's an interesting prospect because you're looking at, like you say, Ainias Smith. thought he probably would have based on the first
I thought he
preseason
would.
game. And then it just kind of continues to go. You're like, well, wait a minute. Here's this wide receiver that not really many people, if any, had him in terms of like F53. It was sure, hey, practice squad, cool. That'd be great. Like there's some potential there, but to the extent of making the 53, he was going to have to make some noise. And gosh, he absolutely did, because it was like crazy, and you continue to see that. So it's a good problem to have. I mean, there's teams that don't have
It's a good problem to have.
depth, so we will take it. But it is always one of those situations where you're going like, man, are we really, like, is that dude not going to make the roster? That's just kind of more of a shocking one. And another one I would just throw out there, we appreciate the super chats too. I'll get to those. Appreciate you guys. Avery Williams. Like, that was a signing way back when that
We hyped it up.
Hey,
Did
there's
nothing.
the Swiss Army knife that Sirianni maybe is going to use in some form or fashion. The dude's barely even gotten in some returns. Nothing on the offensive side.
Nothing.
So
Zero.
He's for sure going to be gone. There's no way he's making the roster.
Yeah, he's not going to make the roster. Elijah Cooks, I hope, comes back as a practice squad guy.
Yeah.
We forget that before Johnny Wilson's preseason game, before Darius Cooper's preseason game, the undrafted free agent wide receiver everybody talked about was Elijah Cooks. You and I saw him in person. It was probably his last training camp practice, essentially, before the injury, the Tuesday before that Thursday night game. And it was like, this guy looks leagues better than everybody else. What about Terrace Marshall Jr.? He's obviously gone. I think if you're a wide receiver needy team, Josh, and you're going into your cuts and you're like, man, we could use another receiver, you look at Philadelphia and see what they do, because they clearly have the room. And, John Metchie or not, there were going to be guys who were going to be let go, but Metchie has made it a lot more difficult. So obviously we'll see.
Yeah, or if you're, if a team's out there in the market, based on the recent trades, I mean, heck, maybe Howie Roseman can get a 4th round pick for Nia Smith. If I don't know we're not going to get off on the tangents of the Broncos and the Saints, but you can do your own research if you're missing out on the trade, because I don't know how you turn a 7th round draft pick into a 4th and a 7th. But
7th rounder last year,
right? Yeah, right. 7th round yet last year. That's like, but it's New Orleans. It's a strange world in New Orleans. Supreme with a 2. Thank you for that. Any update on fantasy? I use the special 10 code. Cool. Let's go, man. I appreciate that.
Special 10 code for what?
That one was for SeatGeek. Sorry, it was 2 separate comments, but he put them together.
Yes.
So yes, got the SeatGeek tickets. Fantasy though.
Let's just announce fantasy right now. So, and we have not talked about this, but I think we'll be on the state page. Let's decide right now. We're going to do 12-person leagues instead of 16, because 16 has been brutal, and we've done 2 16-team leagues. So do you either, Josh, want to do 2 12 or 3 12? What do you think? I'm good with either. I think more people would want 3, but it's just more that you and I have to handle, but obviously we can do it.
Yeah.
Just 3 drafts.
I know, that's the thing. And I was thinking we separated it last time where like you were in one and I was in the other, because it made it
we need
easier.
to be in them together.
If we're not, then I would lean towards 2, quite honestly.
Okay.
So
okay. Do we have people start signing up now? Do we have people Venmo now, or do you want to announce it in a video? We should have talked about this before.
I was just thinking this on the fly, but this is good.
Why don't we just do it next
week?
week?
As well. I mean, there's no harm in it, right? I mean, like we got to get this thing in the works anyway. So yeah, we could do that. I'll tell people the Venmo. It's
you're gonna Venmo Josh. You can put it in your description too.
Yes, I will do that now. I'm double checking because obviously I haven't used it since last time. Make sure that it's the right thing. Okay. It is at the PHI special. I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the description real quick. But the PHI special is the Venmo. So for anybody who wants to, the buy-in was we'll keep it the same, right? Now. For last year was 100. So keep it. I figured that worked out.
Is it 100?
That's what we did last year. That's what we had. Let's see, what was it? Or was it 105 for the?
I'm trying to remember.
The admin. I've got the activity here so I could tell.
We can figure this out. I know what people...
we should have been prepared for it, but it's not.
I didn't even think about it until with the super chat. I know people have been beating down our door to be in the fantasy league.
Yes,
so.
Yes, it was 105. Yep.
Okay. So 105... Winner take all is kind of how it goes. So if you want to be in the fantasy league, here's the deal. And there might be people that don't get in. You Venmo Josh $105 right now. That is your buy-in. And essentially it locks you in. And the first people to do it, so 20 minimum, right? Because it's 2 10s, because you and I are both in each league. The first 20 to do it, we'll go ahead and for sure be locked in, and then we'll get your email address and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, Venmo us with your email. Put your email in
Yeah. Please make sure and do that.
of the Venmo. Make sure you do that.
Good call.
So, all right. We'll see how many we get. We'll announce it again, but we'll see.
John, clarification there at first says, I don't play for less than $1,000 entry. That's some high roller type money right there.
We would just rig that one if we actually did it. Because we would just take all the money. But we use ESPN for people asking. I know there's a lot of people like Sleeper.
Yes.
We're still using ESPN. Keep it simple. And we're trying to have real people that love fantasy football, who actually like fantasy football to be in. If you've never played fantasy football, we would encourage you to join. Trying to be serious people. But anyway, that's the fantasy part. You can watch it back after this. Let's get back to the news, Josh. The big news, Josh. Let's talk about the big news, okay? The big news is the fact that 2 weeks ago, there was a real debate on what Kelee Ringo, maybe he's leading Adoree Jackson. Maybe Kelee Ringo is going to be the guy. And ever since that Bengal preseason game where Jamar Chase cooked him, and really last week as well, because I know you streamed it, I was watching it from my parents' house. Kelee Ringo did nothing to excite me in terms of he's taking this step forward. Kelee Ringo has basically been demoted. He went from getting first-team reps all camp long to now officially getting second and third-team reps, mostly third-team. It's been Mac McWilliams and Jakorian Bennett as the two outside cornerbacks with the second-teamers. And now he has some sort of quad injury, which I saw the speculation. I have a show coming out tomorrow morning that, they're sitting him because they don't want him to get hurt. That way they can trade him. I don't buy that. I think he got a quad injury or he's upset that he got demoted. Either way, I don't see him as that kind of person, but, whatever.
Right.
And either way, whether they trade him or not, Kelee Ringo's chances are done. I mean, this is it. He's had 2 straight camps where he has had a chance to maybe win a starting job, at least win the third-string job. He couldn't beat out Isaiah Rodgers last year for the third-string spot. 3 fingers there. And he couldn't beat Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson's going to be your week 1 starter right now unless Jakorian Bennett does a lot the next 10 days or whatever it is. Kelee Ringo. I mean, I'm with Ryan Solomon. I'm sad about Kelee Ringo not actually getting the start because all of us were really I was hyping him up all offseason long.
And he was that way last offseason. There was a very small period, but if we remember, it was, hey, Kelee Ringo's, don't count him out. We love Q as a rookie, wait for it. But Kelee Ringo has been turning his head. Then it's okay. Yep. Zay kind of taking over, things of that nature. But A.J. Brown has referred to him multiple times, saying he's got all-pro potential. It's just finding that extra, I don't know what is the extra gear. I know there's a fluidity in the hips that we talk about, but he's shown it in brief spells throughout practice. It's enough for A.J. Brown to say what he does. And we've seen even moments during games, but then there's those other plays like he had against Jamar Chase, like he had against the Cleveland Browns in multiple joint practices. I think it was Tillman and maybe Jerry Jeudy on another play that was one of the practices. They're just either not reacting or over pursuing or trying to overcorrect based on a mistake rather than, like Fangio even said, look, if you give up a reception for 15 yards, that's fine. It's going to happen. We don't like it, but it's fine. Make the tackle. But it's the give up the reception and then give up the 40-yard plus run for a touchdown that just continue to happen. So, I mean, I'm with you. I think it does feel like Adoree's got the slight edge. I'm not totally giving up on Jakorian Bennett, but he would have to go out here against the Jets and, we're not saying he has to go out there like a pick six or anything, but he would have to go out there and have a really solid game, maybe some pass breakups, just see that he's clearly out there to potentially change things, because at that point next week, or this point next week, we're through the preseason, we're through the camp, roster set, getting ready for Dallas. And there's no more, at least I can't imagine, but there can't be any more, well, who could the cornerback be? Which one is this going to be going with? You kind of make your decision at that point. So you're running out of time. Let's just say that. You said 10 days, but we're definitely running out of time.
Well, and Jakorian Bennett could, 3 or 4 weeks in, maybe he gets the call. And listen, Adoree Jackson is going to get worked the first couple of weeks. I mean, the schedule that we have obviously talked about a lot is brutal in terms of cornerbacks. You're playing Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Then you're playing Rashee Rice, who's not getting suspended in just the Kansas City Chief offense. And then you have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I mean, it is a gauntlet first 3 weeks. There's a very real possibility, Josh, where right now Adoree Jackson is the right choice. And I think Fangio simply chooses him because of the experience, and he's made less mistakes in training camp. We both have said that we don't think Fangio loves Adoree Jackson. This is not Zach Bond from last year where Fangio was like, this is my guy, But simple he does the right thing, right place, right time, doesn't make a bunch of mistakes, but he could easily get cooked a little bit the first 3 weeks, and they'll swap in Jakorian Bennett whenever Fangio feels healthy. Kind of the Avonte Maddox Cooper DeJean situation that was last year. So, it is what it is, but Adoree Jackson wins the job. I don't think either of us would have expected that, and yet here we are.
Somebody said a second ago, which is actually would be interesting. Flawless was saying Adoree might get Devin Whited.
I don't think so anymore, unless they trade it for somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that instant.
Doesn't
Although
feel like it.
About this time last year, there was a kind of a similar instance of going.
That's a good point.
Devin White probably is the other starter with Zach Bond. Zach Bond continued to get those reps. We're kind of like, yeah, he'll be the guy. But I don't think that many of us were going, yeah, Nakobe Dean's going to be the guy opening night in Brazil. I'm pretty sure, unless my memory is not serving me correct, but I think that it was still leaning towards, yeah, if I'm going to pick, I might say Devin White. And then all of a sudden it was, 5 days before the game that he pops up with an injury designation. And they're like, oh, shoot, okay, he's injured, so maybe he's not. And then very quickly it just falls off a cliff where it's like, well, okay, so Nakobe Dean was the guy all along. It does feel a little bit different, though. I would agree with you on that.
It could happen, but yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
I was going to say quickly the super chats and also entries to the league very quickly.
How many
got hit up on these, so appreciate that. Tanya, I've got yours. Tanya Bossler, Christopher Webb, Lawrence Powell, JC Lamparter, and Tyler Sandman. So looks like we got 5 people, actually 6 now already. So of the 20, we're almost halfway there. We're getting close. So
will we draft this time next week? Should we just make that like during the show we draft both of them? That way people know the time.
That's probably good. We did it last time. So during the Wednesday link. So next week.
Wednesday link, 7:30 p.m. We will have to be on.
Assuming
time,
they fill, but
assuming they fill
next week.
But we assume that they will. So if you're joining, that's when the draft will be. We need you to be at the draft. Do not auto draft. Don't be that person in our league. Okay, I can't stand those people.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Deontay with the 5. Appreciate that. Let's get to it. Almost week 1, so ready to go back to back. Smith and Metchie. I'm sorry. It's Metchie and spelled very. Okay, I got you. Smith and Metchie together is scary. Yes, it is.
First off, John Metchie had a very good past 2 days. I mean, they were throwing him in with the ones, which I was surprised to see. I thought they would work him up slowly. His first practice, he was, getting targets from Jalen Hurts. I think there's something there. I've gone back and forth in this idea that the Metchie trade is nothing, and we'll look back on it, and it's like, whatever. I think there's something there. I continue to try and convince myself that it is not because of injuries. I know Devontae Smith missed again today, and he suddenly has kind of popped up on the injury report. I know A.J. Brown is running before practice, which is a great video that you had on your show last night, and it's like, I love seeing that as well. I'm just holding out hope that they're not seriously hurt. There's no way to know. I mean, literally, there's no way to know. But I'm starting to think that John Metchie, imagine, I think I tweeted this, imagine going up against a 4 wide receiver set with Saquon next to Jalen Hurts in the gun. And it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, John Metchie, and Jahan Dotson. And Jahan Dotson's in year 2. I mean, the possibility is endless here. I'm just trying to be very reserved on John Metchie because I was so hyped about it. We did this with Jahan Dotson last year, and all Jahan told us was like, it's so hard to get traded at the end of August and figure out this playbook. And now here comes John Metchie getting traded at the end of August, and he's got to figure out the playbook. And it's like, please be a little better than what Dotson did last year. If he's the same, whatever. If he's better and Dotson's better, this 4 wide receiver set is nuts. I mean, it is. Is your second best nickel guy is going to cover John Metchie in the slot? I mean, it's scary.
It is, and the route running, and we could say like the lack of production, in his. I get that because people want to bring that up, but the route running. There's no denying that. Like, that part of his game is there. And so we see it early in camp, even if it's some limited usage, if it's some limited plays where it's like, okay, he's still having to learn the playbook from time to time to have him out there. Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's the beauty of the mismatch of it that if you have it out there with him as 4 receivers, like you say, he doesn't have to play for him. He may play 5 snaps in a game. If that, they may go
could be less early on.
But if it's 5 snaps and on those ones you're there, you're gonna okay, cool. You want to try to match him up one on one? We need to pick up 5 yards, 10 yards, get a first down. There you go. Yep. There's the matchup. So you would take your chances there. We'll just say that. But it's exciting. We're almost there. We are certainly less than 3 weeks away, but almost 2 weeks. It is literally
Yeah.
from tomorrow will be
Yeah.
2 weeks. That's crazy. Moses with 2. I don't see a comment. We appreciate the support. If
Thank
you got
you.
another one, I'll throw that up there. But Noah with a 10 bomb. Let's go.
Whoa.
Says, so with all the questions we have at cornerback 2, shouldn't we have kept Slay or Rodgers? I feel like we have known Ringo isn't the guy after 3 years. Go Birds. Been a fans of Thomas since he was on Chat Sports.
There you go. I appreciate that. Last part for sure. Yes, you're 100% right. If I had $1 for every time somebody DM me this on Instagram about how we should have kept Isaiah Rodgers.
Yep.
I saw an argument today that we're kind of, misremembering Isaiah Rodgers because he kind of got worked in the second half versus the LA Rams in the divisional round game. I'm not saying Isaiah Rodgers was like, Quinyon Mitchell or some sort of god on the outside, but I think that he would have probably won this battle had he mixed in against Adoree Jackson and Kelee Ringo pretty handily this offseason. And so I think they should have paid him. I don't know why they didn't pay him, but that tells me that they thought that Kelee Ringo was going to be the guy. And we talk about how we all knew he wasn't the guy, but we're all just going off of what everyone's telling us. We're not at training camp. At least you and I weren't all but one day. And so it's like they really thought that they had somebody in Kelee Ringo, and he didn't figure it out. And that's not to say that he's done forever or he's a bad player or he can't contribute this year. We'll see. But clearly the plan was this year. Kelee Ringo is going to win that job, and trust me, you guys are going to love him. And it wasn't the case. And this happens. And this is why you always have to remember that Howie Roseman is human, because we always talk about Howie Roseman being the best GM in the NFL, and he is. And he hits way more than he doesn't. But no GM bats 1,000. No GM hits every single time they're up to the plate. And this is going to be one of those misses, along with Kevin Byard and along with
Yep.
Jahan Dotson last year was considered a miss, right? Like he has swings and he has misses.
It's a longer term.
It happens.
Yeah. And there's a receiver play, another one that we don't like to name, but there's a guy. Well, he actually mentioned, I think, on Bussin' whenever he went on the interview there.
He did.
And says that for Justin Jefferson, but it is what it is. Nobody's perfect. Let's see. Got another one here from. Oh, I think Moses came back with. Oh, hang on. I went out of order here. I'm sorry. This got off the rails whenever we got all the other stuff for the league. All right, we're back. LD with a 2. I'll do this one first. Can you see a Tariq Woolen or Greg Newsome trade?
I would like to see one.
Yep.
I talked about him on the show because, again, I was thinking, like, you trade for Metchie, and then there was that Jordan Schultz report that you and I both covered on our previous shows about how anonymous AFC GM says the Eagles aren't done. Does that mean they're actually not done, or is it like Howie's just always calling? I don't know. And so I was just looking at cornerbacks, and to me, Tariq Woolen made a ton of sense because he's entering the final year of his contract, his rookie deal. They have not re-signed him, and he obviously is very, very good. And Seattle does have a really good young defense. Like, they could afford to get rid of Tariq Woolen, and they obviously lost DK Metcalf, and so Dotson alongside Jackson Smith and Jigba could make some sense. And so I threw that one out there. Obviously, there's no word that could happen. I thought that Denzel Ward made a ton of sense because, and I really thought whenever they traded for John Metchie that it was so close to joint practices right afterwards that there was something there. Maybe they had a closet handshake. We talked about this on our John Metchie recap live. Maybe there's a closet handshake. Browns GM, Eagles GM, Denzel Ward. We're going to give you Jahan Dotson. Let's just make sure we get John Metchie first. Didn't happen. I proposed this trade on Twitter, Josh, and it was half kind of rage bait and half kind of honest. I said Jahan Dotson, Kelee Ringo, and a 5th for Denzel Ward.
Yep.
And all the Cleveland people found it, and they went nuts because they're like, Denzel Ward's a top 5 cornerback. We would never do this in the world. And I'm like, did you not just see what Jalen Ramsey was traded for? And I know Denzel Ward's better than Jalen Ramsey, but not by much. It's not like the first cornerback and the 40th cornerback. It's the 3rd cornerback and the 12th cornerback. And so whether you want a 5th rounder and 2 players for Denzel Ward or a 3rd, I don't care. I would love Denzel Ward. But the fact we're now a week removed from joint practices, and really the point is this close to the season tells me that they're not going to make a move here unless an injury, like a safety spot, which we'll talk about, would make more sense.
Yes.
Because there's actual injuries at safety right now. There are no injuries at cornerback.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm totally, and everybody's biased with their own team. So I get it. But yes, I was seeing lots of those comments from that tweet.
They want a first-round draft pick for Denzel Ward.
Yes.
You're not getting a first-round draft pick for Denzel Ward.
Hey, the other win, by the way, and this is what just reminded me because Adam Schefter just shared that the Chiefs are trading Sky Moore to the San Francisco 49ers, wide receiver Sky Moore. So this just reminded me of it because, again, the Niners were in on John Metchie. Like the Eagles and Niners were the ones that were trying to trade for John Metchie, and the Eagles outbid, which it was hardly anything, but still apparently outbid the 49ers. So that
Wow.
was a win in itself, for the Eagles to get John Metchie. But you can tell how desperate the Niners are because they're like, all right, well, we got to try to find somebody else. We're trade for someone because at this point, Ricky Pearsall is probably their number one, right? I mean, if you're looking at their roster, the way their injuries shake up, it's not the worst thing. That might have been a little extra motivation too, John, of Howie going, yeah, can we use a wide receiver? Maybe so. Sure. Yeah. Or the Niners are calling too. Yeah. All right. Let's get this thing done.
Maybe. Boy, Sky Moore, how about that going to the 49ers? That's got to be met with way less enthusiasm than what John Metchie would have been met with going to the 49ers. I mean, people would have been
has
pumped
to
for
be.
that.
I would think so.
Has to be. Yeah. Wow.
Granted, Sky Moore did have
crazy.
an electric punt return, so give him that kudos.
He
but
did, and he caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So,
but I probably still am with you. I would not have as much of the excitement. John with a 5, appreciate that. John says, "Pour one for Ringo. He needs a pick me up. Go Birds."
I'm sure he does. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be tough. Got to be tough. I mean, he was given the keys to the castle, and he could not figure it out. And I feel like they're also lenient on the Eagle cornerbacks in training camp because they're going against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith so much. And then the problem was A.J. Brown then stops practicing at the very beginning, and every day it was like Kelee Ringo gets cooked by Elijah Cooks. Kelee Ringo gets worked by Darius Cooper, and you're kind of starting to go, well, it doesn't sound good. I wish I could see it in person, but it doesn't sound good. And sure enough, it wasn't. And sure enough, I mean, Vic Fangio's just got to trust you, and Vic Fangio clearly does not trust Kelee Ringo, and that's why we're here.
Yep. Tyler with a 10, which also followed it up just a second. This was earlier, right before the news, the Niners won. But Tyler said, "My best friend is a Niners fan. Yes, crazy friendship, but they need a wide receiver. We need a cornerback. Told him JD and a mid-rounder for Lenore. Thoughts, LOL." And then this news broke, and he says, "Well, never mind," with a follow-up on Super Chat. So
there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
They figured it out.
It's still not it's not an exciting move. My goodness. Sky Moore, and they swapped late round draft picks, I think is what it is right now. So nothing good.
Not really, no. Update also, by the way, on the fantasy. We're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 people now.
Wow.
9 of the
Jeez,
20 spots already.
Filled.
Stephen Fritz, Christopher Baggett, Julia Martine. Also, I think Christopher got a membership as well. Welcome to Let's Run It tier. So got you down there.
There you go.
Yeah, we're basically halfway here. So people wanting to get in on this.
It's down in my description box right now.
There you
It
go.
shows you what you have to do. You got to Venmo the Philly Special Show, even if you're on my show, because they all go to Josh Hill. And then $105 enters you, and it's winner take all. We don't do a second place. Right? I don't think we have done a second place, have we? I think we just Venmo the whole thing. Whoever gets first place. It's pretty standard PPR rules. It's very basic fantasy football is what it is. So 12 person though instead of 16. I know a couple people are going to miss out, but 16, you just don't get a good team, and if you don't draft well, you're done because no one's going to trade you their best player. 12 is a lot more. It'll be a lot more fun. And we're drafting next week. This time next week, we'll be doing a show and drafting at the same time.
I'd had some pretty good luck. I'm not going to lie. I'm not opposed to the 12, but I had some pretty good luck with the 16.
Year. Yes.
Yep, and then was in
was rigged.
And then in the finals last year. So we did not win.
Maybe it is rigged.
We did not
Maybe
win.
It is. Maybe you guys shouldn't send Josh your money because he's just going to keep it because
it's just,
he keeps getting in the
how
final.
Did Josh win?
I stumped the past 2 seasons, so I'm not rigging it for sure because I've been awful. But this is the year.
You never know. The 16, we'll just say this, and then we'll continue to move on because it's not a fantasy football show. But the 16 is almost like you have to hit on someone in like the 12th round that is just one of those that's like, yeah, maybe some potential, and then all of a sudden they just go off and go like crazy. The first year for me was Raheem Mostert, and then last year, I can't remember which one. I think I had him in for sure one, maybe both. But Brock Bowers was, it's like, get him a little bit late, tight end. Maybe he's good, and he turns out to be tight end 1 for the league. So, it helps whenever you get that.
By the way, hang on. Lehigh Sky High says, any updates on the giveaways, my 100K giveaways? I have heard from the ticket winners, so I talked to him tomorrow to figure out which game he wants to go to. My previous video, we selected the member who won, and that was Cranky Cletus, who actually I'm surprised in the chat. He's very much a regular. He won the signed Philly Dog helmet or jersey that was randomly selected. I have not heard from him yet, so he gets a little bit more time. Cranky, email me. It's down below. You got to email me, buddy. And then the normal jersey we're going to talk about on tomorrow's show. So, and then, of course, plenty more giveaways are going to happen. I'm going to announce some more giveaways next week, so lots of stuff happening. But in terms of those, that's where we're at.
There we go. Keep them rolling. Nonstop. Big Fish Little Boat with a 2 says Team Mac McWilliams for cornerback 2, like button. So drop a like, I guess, on it.
I think that they like Mac McWilliams. I don't think that they trust him, which goes back to the whole point. So Mac is going to be the backup, I think. I think they would put Mac in behind Jakorian Bennett and ahead of Kelee right now, if they were, being honest with themselves. So if that's true or not, I don't know. But that is where they're at with Mac McWilliams. They like him. I just think that, do you want him to go 1v1 versus CeeDee Lamb week 1? The answer is probably no.
Yeah, most likely not. I agree. Let's see. Where was the other one? Oh, Billin with a 5. At this point, no team will trade at a number 1 corner. Are we sticking with Jackson? If so, what's the concern level? I am scared.
I'm not scared, Josh. I wouldn't be surprised if Jakorian Bennett eventually takes over. Let's just say that.
Yep.
And the theory is that if you have one weak link on the defense this special, you can hide it. And I know that corners are hard to hide, but you can definitely shade to a side with your safeties. You can definitely shade to a side with your linebacker play. The thought process is probably, hey, let's go with Adoree over Kelee and Jakorian because he is the most, professional. He's been in the league the most. He's seen the most. He'll make the least amount of mistakes. And we're going to hope that our front 4, which should dominate this year, our linebacker play, which should be incredible this year, and the rest of the secondary, we have questions about safety. I'm surprised to see no Makuba questions down below. We'll talk about him. The rest of the secondary holds their own, then we can hide Adoree Jackson the best. So that's where we're at. I mean, and honestly, listen, people were picking on Darius Slay a lot last year. I mean, there was you go back to the Bucks game, people were like, Slay is washed. Why is Slay still here? And Slay figured it out. So there could be a little bit of a growing battle, of a learning game here with Adoree Jackson. But if Vic thinks he's the best option, they at least have Jakorian Bennett to back him up, and I think that's a good 1-2 punch.
Yes. And also, I'll just tease this because I think it's coming out tomorrow. But Anthony DeBona has a good article on, how should I phrase this? Maybe just to give Adoree Jackson a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. So I'm just going to say that. There's some interesting comparisons, some guys that you wouldn't expect, numbers, performance, things like that. So not to say that he is the end-all, be-all, and then he's the great answer and going to shut down everybody. But perspective is a very important thing. And he shared some of these stats before that'll be dropping tomorrow, as I think we lost Thomas briefly, and he'll come back maybe. So just keep an eye out for that on thephillyspecialshow.com. Daryl, I got your 105. I didn't see an email. I don't see an email in that comment. So feel free. I'll comment back to everybody for Venmo, but I'll comment back. Daryl, I do have your entry. I think we're up to 10 or 11 at this point. Let's see if that worked. There we go.
Am I back? My internet flickered there. Are we back?
We're back. Yep.
I also looked very, very blurry there for a second, so I knew that it was coming. Am I no longer blurry?
Nope. Looks good. Okay.
We're back.
All
right. Sorry. Continue. Okay. I knew that was going to happen.
It's better. There's a little bit of a blur now, but
okay.
It's okay. It might be getting worse.
Oh my gosh! As long as you can hear me, I can
definitely hear you.
It's unbelievable.
We're here. CJ dropped a 50 bomb. Let's go. The 50.
Glad I didn't miss that.
I think that's been consecutive streams, if I'm not mistaken. CJ with a 50 bomb says, just now tuning in. What all did I miss? Love the vids. Y'all can't wait for the week 1 stream. Go Birds. That's right. We're going to be there. Week 1.
Week 1. Streaming it up. Hopefully it's not blurry, but there's no promises because right now I believe I'm super blurry.
Now you're good. You're good.
Oh, I'm back.
You're back.
I'm okay. Okay, well.
Whatever you did.
I have gig internet. I never understand why this happens. I pay a lot of money for it. Oh, my gosh. It triggers me. Oh, man. Hey, I see Cranky Cletus in the chat. Cranky, if you're in the chat, you won the signed Philly Dog thing on my previous video.
Yeah, hit him up.
Go down below in my description box.
Don't miss out on that thing.
It says that you won, and you can send me an email. So if you want it, send me an email. It's down below. All the details are down there, Cranky. I see you in the chat.
There we go.
You won.
It's very well deserved. But CJ, what did you miss? Well, it depends on what all exactly you talk. But like training camp, Darius Cooper, great day again, but should make the roster. Kelee Ringo is absolutely out of the cornerback 2 battle. Has been for probably a couple days, but for sure. Adoree Jackson probably a little bit in the lead, but there's Jakorian Bennett possibility. I'm thinking that it's Jahad Campbell and Zach Bond for week 1. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., though, give him all the props of the world because he did his
A lot of props.
great a job as he could, to try to win it, I just don't think that there's too much upside with getting Jihad out there on the field. So, but yeah, I mean, interesting decisions for Howie and the rest of the roster with the 53-man deadline next Tuesday. So 6 days-ish, a little less than 6 days.
6 days.
But
yep.
Keep it up. The final preseason game on Friday night.
Sean Ladley says, this is a stupid question, but you're using Ethernet, right? I am. And I actually just unplugged it. You can't, I don't know if they can see this, but a brand new Ethernet cord, my modem or my router is right there. I pay for AT&T gig internet. And so even Wi-Fi, it's like 4 feet.
Right there.
And then I have the thing plugged in, and then it stops working. I unplug it, and here we are, and it works better. So, I have fiber. I literally have fiber. I have AT&T. I get 800. I'm getting 800 up right now if I check it. Right now, 800 up.
That's crazy.
So, I don't know. It's crazy. But what are you going to do? Anyway, enough about my Wi-Fi. I pay for the good stuff, guys. Trust me.
Weird that, it's almost like your Ethernet does worse than your Wi-Fi.
It seems that way.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yes.
Because mine's complete like if I switch off, it's on Ethernet right now. But if I switch off, it'll die. Like we'll be done. So, but that is crazy.
I know.
Matt with a 2 though says hello, Josh and the Slacker. It says J.K. Thomas.
Is that me?
Well, he was referring to because you weren't on the stream
Saturday
last week.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, what else?
Didn't miss much. I was hanging with my family,
no,
so
you did
sue
not.
me on that one.
Yeah.
But no, I know. Week 1, we're gonna be. I mean, we're every game this year. Week 1, So
yes. Actually, we didn't talk about this before, but for people that are on the stream, putting you on the spot a little bit, are you available to? Are you going to be streaming for
I'm not
Friday
sure
night's
yet.
game? Or are you available? I didn't know if that was.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay,
I have to ask. So
TBD.
We'll see. It might.
Stand by.
It might not. I think it's leaning towards might not, but we'll see.
All right, I've shared for people already. I will not be. I've got a CrossFit
so you're gonna
event thing, so I will not. Yes, so maybe we reverse this comment, Matt. You could send another one and just say hello.
Yeah.
In a couple days, and you'd say hey to, or just hey to both slackers. Honestly, you just keep it both of them. But we appreciate it, Matt.
For those wondering, no starters are playing on Friday. I mean, if it's going to be Tanner McKee's obviously not going to play. They might not even play Darius Cooper because I think he's going to make it. So it's going to be like bottom of the barrel guys.
Yeah, very few. Well, yeah, I mean, a couple maybe chances to make the roster, but yeah, the vast majority is just kind of like, get some work in, a little bit of film, maybe some practice squad candidates, and move on. Supreme with another 2. Appreciate that. Is there any other payment method? Okay, anything other than Venmo?
Venmo, no, just Venmo. Unless you have something else.
I can. What did I do last year? I think I did Cash App. I don't prefer, like, ideally it would be Venmo, but yeah, if you got Cash App, that'll work. Let me know in the comment section. You don't have to send a super chat or anything. Just I'll see your name. Let me know in the comment section. If that works, I can share the Cash App, and we can do that. Like I say, ideally Venmo if that works, but we'll make an exception. All right, Burner with a 5. Having 4th hardest schedule worries me. AJ not practicing. I think we all need to practice, not overreacting early this season, but it may be ugly at first.
I don't think it's going to be ugly. I could totally listen, and we're positive. They could start 2-2. They did it last year. They could. I mean, this is a tough schedule. The 4th hardest schedule, as you just mentioned, is difficult, and you could easily, beat the Cowboys, lose to the Chiefs, lose to the Rams. Obviously, Denver comes up in a couple of weeks. Commanders eventually. I mean, it's not an easy schedule. But I do think this team is too good to have a really down year. I saw someone do this segment. I think it was Colin Cowherd. Floor, ceiling. Philly's floor, without injuries, right? Because obviously you have injuries, you could win 4 games. But without injuries, Philly's floor is like 9 or 10 wins, and they're going to be in the postseason. It's a matter of how many wins can you get, a.k.a. can you get the 1 seed, right? Can you win 13 games? With the roster, you should be able to. With the schedule, you might have a couple more 1-score games where something doesn't go your way. I mean, you think the last year, a couple of games that were 1-score that went Philadelphia's way. The Commander game on Thursday night went Philadelphia's way. The Nakobe Dean interception Jaguar game. I mean, the end of the Panther game went Philadelphia's way. There were a couple of games that were like 1-score, pretty scary. They could have lost and not gotten the 1 seed, and so, it could have been a little bit difficult. By the way, Dirty Air says, "Save me a spot. I'll send the money tomorrow." Dirty Air is
Gary.
obviously Gary. So Gary, we will lock down Gary's spot. Gary came with us to training camp a couple days ago or 2 weeks ago. Gary, we have you a spot in one of those. So yes, save a spot for him. And by the way, We say there are 20 spots open. There's less than that right now. If we overfill the people who signed up or Venmo Josh after we got to 20, we're going to Venmo your money back. So you will get it back. So we're not just going to keep it, even though we'd like
we're
to.
almost hitting it on the stream, I think, now, because we have 12. It looks like we have 12 people. I'm counting Gary, but 12 of the 20. Okay. So we're getting pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's getting close.
It's not impossible to do a third, but it just gets so difficult having that.
We'll
many
see how
with.
many extra people sign up.
Maybe. If it's like crazy, then yeah, maybe so.
If it's like 5 extra people, the 5 are going to get their money back.
Okay. Let's see. Bryce Cooper, I do have yours as well. Interested in the Fantasy Football League. I got that Venmo. You're good. Panda, did I miss your message? Was there a super chat or just like a message in general?
I didn't see it.
He said miss my message. Was that on?
I don't know. Send it again.
Yeah, send it again. I'm trying to just scroll through and make sure, but I can't find it now. Panda, let me know. You said I missed your message, but if it's something out there, let me know. I'll follow back up. Supreme. All right, I got you down. So there's one for Cash App, assuming you just sent that, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I got it. All right, so I think we got 13 now. If my math serves correctly, I think we got 13 of the 20. This is filling up pretty quick. John with a 2 says, I can't do fantasy football anymore. My fandom gets in the way. And that is totally fair.
That's fine.
It's
not a problem.
It's almost impossible to draft Dallas Cowboy if they're out there, or even maybe a 49er, even though strategy probably says you should.
Yeah.
And you want to take too many Eagles early.
That's a problem. Jalen Hurts goes in like round 1 every single time we do this. It's nuts. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, they're all gone. You think you'd only get one of those in like the 4th or 5th round, and it's not possible in these leagues. So, FCP Panda says it was a monthly subscriber message.
Oh, my bad. If I missed it, let me see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I was running through doing way too many things, obviously, at once. Found it now, though. Metchie could be insurance plus if Dotson walks in free agency. So that is certainly, I mean, we've talked about that a little bit, but the restricted free agent element of Metchie versus Jahan Dotson be unrestricted. Even if Metchie has a very limited season here, you're planning on Dotson to already go and walk. But the restricted part is you could just match what someone else pays. And if Metchie doesn't do anything, I can't imagine another team's going to go out there and say, okay, so he did a very minimal amount in Houston, got traded to Philly, didn't do anything there. Is a team going to go out and say, oh, let's pay him $10 million? That's not going to happen. Right. So you probably pay him cheap and get him to return to Philly.
Yep, I think so. I think that makes the most sense. And, we got to see what happens. I mean, they could re-sign Dotson. It's just very unlikely. Dotson is either going to go off and walk in free agency for a lot of money or not go off, and someone will give him money in the offseason. So either way is going to work out well for him in terms of not being an Eagle and being maybe a featured number 1 or a number 2, on a different roster. But it's great to have these guys in case the worst were to happen. If A.J. Brown's hamstring is actually bad, which we said before, there's no indication that it is, other than the fact he hasn't practiced in 18 days, which is a problem. If it's actually bad, you're going to be really glad we have Jahan Dotson and John Metchie, because Jahan Dotson, John Metchie, and Devontae Smith can be a serious threat on the outside. That's better than a lot of receiving cores in the NFL. But let's hope it's not that we don't have to worry about that. And Dotson and Metchie are just icing on an already great cake.
Yep. Got some questions for the Fantasy League, by the way. 105 is the fantasy buy-in. So for those asking, 105. Got another one for Anthony Lopez for 105. I think we're up to 14 now, I believe. 14 entries out of the 20. Dos Bros with a... Sam, my bro loves your show. Can you say hi, Micah? Fly Eagles Fly. It would make his day. And he'd see.
Is your brother Micah Parsons?
Thomas. Saying I love your show. So you want to shout out to Micah.
Shout out to Micah. We
as
appreciate
long as
you
it's
watching
not Micah
our show.
Parsons.
There you go. Hey, if it's Micah Parsons, I wouldn't be shocked if he likes the show. He's an Eagle fan, right? I mean, a lot of Eagle fans like the show. So
that's true. Yes.
Maybe it is Micah Parsons. It's not Micah Parsons, but Micah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Go Birds.
Go. Heck yeah. Matt with 10 Philly Special Show memberships. Matt, you're the man. Let's go. Dropping those 10. People getting access to the membership. Heck yeah. Means a lot there. Also, oh no, I answered that already. All right, I'm just making sure because I'm getting others. Jacob Case getting the entry to the league as well. Jacob, got your info. Filling up quickly. You got 15 already.
There you go. 5 more. We'll have it by the end of the night for sure.
I'm pretty sure, honestly, because we're getting down to it as it is. We should mention a little bit just because we've talked about some of the others, but Drew Makuba, the hamstring injury.
We should mention that, yes.
He was at practice, obviously did not practice, but he's out there. Johnny Wilson was not. So I think it seems to reason when the guy is not even there at all, there's more serious injury, getting treatment, all the other stuff. At least he was walking, but then it does become a question of, okay, so AJ's had a hamstring injury, probably had a setback. Sirianni didn't say officially, but reading between the lines, seems like he had a setback. Probably the hope is, because we did see him, getting in some jogging, some running, should be week 1 and be able to play against Dallas. But for Makuba, he had the shoulder injury, which kept him out for a while, finally got back. Great preseason debut for him in the second preseason game. And then the hamstring injury now. And it's like, if he's going to have back-to-back like that, if some injuries dealing with, how long will it be? Is this something that's going to keep him out, into the week 1, week 2, where he misses a couple games? He's already missed some significant time. I'm not like sounding the alarms there, but as we know, it's like any rookie needs to get reps, but especially in a Vic Fangio system, you can't be missing time. So safety spot there, I mean, is Sidney Brown the guy? How long does it take for Drew Makuba? There's just a lot of questions. We'll just say that. And I know that Justin Simmons also keeps getting thrown out there, but it's where we're at.
Well, I think you just said it. I mean, it stinks because I think Drew Makuba was basically crowned the winner of the safety battle a couple days ago. I mean, after his Saturday preseason performance, he was getting all the reps. I mean, I think he got the lion's share, was the quote from one of the beat writers in Monday's practice. And I think the same was on Tuesday until he got hurt. And so now they got to go back to Sidney Brown. I, for the life of me, am still surprised. Like, if they were going to make a final move right now, if the injury is severe in terms of his hamstring, because there are different grades and levels, and if it was one of the worst, bad ones, then you go get Justin Simmons, or I know Duggar, the safety from the Patriots, is obviously a name that's been thrown around a lot. But I think that it's kind of like Kelee Ringo, right? They wanted Sidney Brown to win that job, Josh. He didn't. Doesn't mean he can't play at all, but he's going to have to hold down the fort for the first 4-game stretch, which is going to be very, very difficult. And it's a bummer because Makuba needs snaps, and that's what, I mean, gosh, we said it like 9 times tonight, but that is what Vic Fangio wants you to have. He wants you to have reps and be comfortable and understand the system. And Makuba, if he sits out for the next 4 weeks, he's going to be, slow walked back into the starting position unless, the worst happens and Philadelphia's losing because of Sidney Brown.
Yeah, Dub G saying, I think Sidney Brown can hold it down. I think he can. We got some great defensive players. Is he the long-term answer? I don't know. It seems like Makuba was going to be the guy, and like you say, he could eventually get back into that role. I just don't know, like, the way that Sidney Brown plays, is he going to be able to stay healthy? If he's asked to be there for 4 weeks, right? Like, can he stay healthy because you do like the fact that he's a tone setter. He's not afraid to just light somebody up, but there's an element to that where a number of times he's tried to go in and make the biggest hit possible, and he's injuring his neck, and there's a potential concussion injury, and there's another one not really necessarily like hit related, but he injured his hamstring his rookie year, the ACL, but that was on a not great field, so that's kind of another thing. But it's one thing after another, and sometimes they're fluky, but other times you're like, well, common denominator, some guys just get banged up and injured more frequently, and it seemed like so far in his early part of his career that's been Sidney Brown. So even if he does kind of start putting it together, I'm just questioning, can he stay healthy? Reed Blankenship has also missed some time with getting some injuries there. There's just, let's just say this, there's questions continuing around safety. If the guys are healthy, then I'm confident in it, but you have like one injury even, and we're sitting there going like, I don't know. Like, Cooper DeJean, sure, you might move him back there, but then who goes to the nickel? Who do you move around there? Then it is a very strange, not great game of musical chairs that I think that we're starting to play. So I don't know. It's it'll be interesting to see if they make any other moves. But I hear people, Justin Simmons, other potential trades. You're running out of time, like we're saying. Like a guy has to get in here to have a little bit of chemistry with the guys and figure something out. Otherwise, it feels like, as we've said in the past, you make a trade for someone around the trade deadline, and that never worked because it's just too much of a try to get caught up to speed and the system. I know that Simmons has played in it, So there's an element there where it's like, well, he doesn't have to, but it's still learning the communication with the other guys on the defense. So there's an element on that side. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's lots of things to account for. We'll see. I'm not I'll just say the anxiety is not there. It's a lot more just excitement. I'm not anxious. I'm not terrified. I've seen some people like, oh man, I'm not there yet. But if the injuries start to really, then I will. That'll totally change it. So
yep, I agree.
Julian with a 10. Hey guys, big fan of both your shows. Appreciate that, Julian.
Thank you.
You guys kept me awake during our drive to Yosemite. What game you looking forward to the most, other than the Cowboys Chiefs? LOL. Mine is against the Broncos.
Yeah, Denver. I mean, Denver is like the hype team this year, and the thought process is, they won 10 games last year and got blown out in the playoffs, and yet that was like a massive success, and now they have all these expectations, and they get a really, really good offseason. They got, Funga, the safety, and then they got Dre Greenlaw and Evan Ingram and all this stuff. The Ram game to me, I pulled the schedule up here just to have it in front of me. The Ram game to me is going to be fascinating. It's another one like the Chiefs that's like heavily circled by the opponent. Like, Kansas City wants to at least show that they can compete with us. The Rams want revenge for the 2 losses last year. That one's interesting, but the Matthew Stafford back injury is a serious question mark. I mean, I saw a tweet asking, can we get Matthew Stafford holding today's newspaper posted by the Rams social media because we need proof of life. The guy's been so non-existent.
Honestly,
minor back injury right now. He has an epidural, which sounds pretty bad, so
he's getting in those tanning beds.
The quarterback is there. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's
Denver
not a
is good.
Situation.
Obviously, Green Bay on the road, the game that you're going to be at. I just sit back and look at this final kind of month and a half of the
Detroit
schedule
game
in November. Detroit, Dallas, Chicago, Chargers, Raiders, Washington, Buffalo, Washington. Those are all must-watch games. Like, those are all incredible football games. The one maybe is Chicago, on Black Friday. Maybe Chicago's not that good. Maybe they are. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Chargers, I think, are going to be much, much improved. The Raiders are going to be much, much improved. Obviously, you play Buffalo in what's probably going to be a meaningful game where you're locking up, hopefully, the 1 seed. I'm circling all of those ones there. And I really do think Buffalo is exciting for simply the fact that Jalen Hurts can keep his streak of, beating all of the quarterbacks that are ranked higher than him. He can do it against Herbert this year. You mean he can do it against Stafford again this year and do it again against Josh Allen, and it's pretty exciting. But sorry, I drink a lot of water in this show. I'm going crazy right now. But obviously, the first 2 weeks of the season are the big ones to keep an eye on right now. They're the most exciting.
I was gonna say Buffalo would be fun, and Matt was talking about, I guess, having previously been to Buffalo, so that's a good venue to go to. Mm-hmm. But do you want to brave Buffalo in late December?
I have
with
no
the weather and everything.
No.
So that just for what that one's worth. I would probably say if we're looking at home game, Detroit. It's going to be a night game, hype, everything. Yeah. It feels like it coming off of coming off the Green Bay game from that, I believe, because it's like bye week Green Bay, Detroit, if I'm not mistaken, something to that effect. It's somewhere around that timeline. But yeah, I mean they're all good, but some people saying there's something else other than water in that drink of yours.
There's not, I promise. It's only water. I actually was at East Lake today. I was at the Tour Championship.
Yes,
I got invited by YouTube to the Tour Championship, and I was literally walking with Scotty Scheffler. I was like one of 10 people who was watching Scotty Scheffler's practice round today. So I am exhausted because I was in I sweated through I never sweat that much. I completely soaked my collar t-shirt, my golfing, dry fit collar t-shirt. So this is all water because I am trying to hydrate back up. So if anyone thinks it's not, look at my Twitter for my pictures with Scotty Scheffler because I was out in the heat all day long today. And it was
that was legit though. That's we were talking about this beforehand, but I don't know how they do it. But they walk around 10 miles and then do it the next day and the next day and the next day. But good for them. Ooh. We're up to 18, by the way, as we're getting close to wrapping up this stream. 18 people. Brett Yeomans, I got you. Aiden Flynn, Trey Smiley, the latest 3. I think I said Jacob Case. If I didn't, Jacob, I got you also.
And you have Dirty Air. You obviously have Gary.
Yes, and that's including Gary and I've got, yes, obviously us in there as well. So let's see. We've got, because it's 12 spots. So, so 24 in total, but, or 2 of each. So 20. Yep.
Right.
So 2 more, it looks like, if my math is correct, 2 more entries possible. Yeah. So just about there.
We'll get it. And then
I anticipated.
We'll shoot out an email by the end of the week. I don't know when exactly that'll happen, but we'll if you pay and you're in the first 20, you're in. Just look out for the ESPN fantasy email. So it'll come.
Got you down. Let's see. Anything else as we're getting close? We feel like we covered most
I don't think
of the
so. I think we got it all.
topics from camp. Any other? I was just double checking from comments in the chat. Oh, we got one more super chat here too. Burner with a 2. Hot take: the Lions will miss the playoffs.
It could happen. I mean, ask Philadelphia what it's like losing both their offensive and defensive coordinators.
Mhm.
I mean, ask us what Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. Goodness, I was like, who was it? It was Sean Desai. Yeah, and I can't name the Lion replacements. Who are the Lions OC and DC? I think they were internal hires. John Morton and Kelvin Shepard. So Kelvin Shepard was the Broncos passing game coordinator. No, sorry, John Morton was, and Kelvin Shepard was within the Lions organization. Okay. Best of luck. That sounds like Sean Desai and Brian Johnson to me, but I don't know anything about the Lions' internal coaching tree. So, but they definitely could. They definitely could.
Dirty D, what's up? Says, what are we entering? It's the fantasy league. It's 105 for the entry. It's a winner take all. We got 2 leagues.
2 leagues. Josh and I are in both, so we have the chance to play both of us.
There you go.
12-person, winner take all, PPR. The draft is next week at 7:30 on Wednesday during the live stream.
There you go. It looks like we got two entries left. I can attest to what Matt was saying though. Coconut water and pineapple juice gets me through the day.
Not a bad idea.
It's a good go-to. Sandy makes kind of a concoction there that
there you
it's
go.
not bad. It's not too bad. Okay. I was just double checking, waiting to see if we have any others. I don't believe at the moment, but I'm sure in the next few minutes, even people
you
watching
can do
this
it
thing
later
back.
tonight.
So, yeah, I will shoot you a note. I'll like the message. I'll email you back. We'll get you the info and everything else. But looks like we should be just about filled already. So good stuff. And it'll be next week. Again, there was somebody else who asked recently.
During the stream.
Next week, Wednesday, during the stream. So 7:30 Eastern-ish.
Yep.
You know, sometimes a couple minutes after, but 7:30 Eastern-ish. And full PPR. Standard, other than that,
yeah, it's standard.
League,
there's no extra quarterback
PPR,
or there'll be a kicker and a defense, the usual stuff. We got a last second super chat here from
here we
Korma Brima, I think. What's up, guys? Story time. We lost every single game last season that I sat down and watched from start to finish. My family locked me up in the basement during the playoffs and Super Bowl. Anything for my birds. Okay, so it was your fault. So it was your fault when Jalen got hurt. We lost our Commander game.
Oh my gosh!
So they got to lock you up for hopefully 19 games this year. So I'm sorry to hear that, but they're gonna have to. And if they don't, then Josh and I will come wherever you live and lock you up the way they win. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Corman, it's whatever works. But like Thomas said, stay locked up. Unfortunately, you can't be watching these games.
Yeah, can't watch it.
Oh my gosh. There weren't too many of those, but
thank you for the super chat, by the way. I see Alex DPMO say join the stream late. How to join the fantasy league in the description. Venmo Josh. It's all down there. 105. There's 2 spots left. You better hurry. So all the details are in my description or Josh's description. So depending on whose chat you're in right now. So
John M with another super right here at the last. At least it ain't Matt Patricia.
At least it's not Matt Patricia.
It's not Matt Patricia.
I forgot about him too. Him and Amanda shot on the side. Boy, we were so cooked and we just didn't want to believe it.
Could be worse. Yes. Yeah. Drew Vincic, let's go with one. Says go Birds, go Philly Special, go BCS, and that is one of the CrossFit buddies there. So
there you go.
Hop it on last minute. That's why it will not be streaming on Friday. People are wondering.
Yeah,
it will not be
we've
streaming
heard
the
that
game.
you do CrossFit. We've heard it. We've heard that you do a lot of CrossFit.
But
in case you guys didn't know, Josh does CrossFit. Just in case you're wondering. He's got a competition this week. Pretty big deal.
We do, yes. Yep. Brett with a 2, watching since the start. Fantasy football will be great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Brett. I mentioned earlier again, but yes, I got you down.
You're in.
So
you're in.
There you go.
You're going down because you're going to lose, obviously, but welcome. So I'm going to win this year. I'm winning one of these 2 leagues. I've never come close. I'm making playoffs and winning one of these 2 leagues. Mark my words, I'm taking everybody's money, and I'm winning. So just let it be known.
I just need to make sure to not get last in our other league because I'm not driving across the country or doing anything like that. So.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. That's not a punishment.
That's another
that's
conversation for another
day. A guy
day,
in my personal fantasy league said the punishment, this is funny, the punishment for my personal fantasy league, he said, should be the loser has to bus across the country coast to coast. And he was being serious. And I about shot him. I was like, what are you talking about? That is the dumbest thing. Can you imagine how long would it take to bus across the country? Like a week? It would take more than a week probably because you'd be stopping at bus stations. Yeah, that's not happening.
His recommendations were a little crazy. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last
Alex,
one
we're
here.
on Eastern time, Wednesday 7:30
Yeah,
Eastern.
yeah, I saw that one.
Next
Okay,
week,
yeah.
Wednesday
Yep.
7:30 Eastern during the next live stream.
There we go. Okay, I think that does it. Gary, you just lost your spot for that comment. But everybody else, we appreciate you. I got you. No, you're fine. You're fine, Gary. You got it. All right, but this was fun. We enjoyed it. Great time as always. More videos incoming. Probably not streaming for the game. Stay tuned if that happens. Thomas will let you guys know, or you'll see the notifications and everything else. Otherwise, we will definitely be there week 1, opener against Dallas. Plenty more videos to come in the meantime. And we'll get you info and emails sent out for those on the Fantasy Football League. But
we'll
appreciate you guys. You know what it is. Go Birds.
Go Birds.